Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing an unhaul of books from my shelf that I have not read. And I found 26 books that I'm willing to give up. And the way that I did that is I pulled all of the books that have just missed the cut on past unhauls, the ones that were on the edge, not knowing if I should keep them or not. I took 63 books off of my unread shelves and I reread the synopsis of each and tried the very beginning of each story to see if the writing style was going to work for me, if the content was something I wanted to read, and if it was, if it grabs me right from the beginning and makes me want to read it, then I knew I should keep it. And from 63 books, I got these 26 that I am willing to part with. A lot of these I've had on my shelf for very, very, very long time, years and years and years, and that's sad. And my reading preferences have changed in years and years. So the biggest reason, or biggest change in my reading, I found was in romance. I pulled out all of my older romance books and I decided I could get rid of a lot of them. Because a lot of them were new adult and they're like freshman in college type stories, and I am so much further away from that now. I'm just not interested in they're like children now. That seems like I don't want to hear about their sexual escapades. Anyway. But I'm starting with 3 Colleen Hoover books because I've heard that she writes kind of problematic stories. And if I read that there's some bad secret to confess, or if there's cheating, or if there's an unhealthy relationship, that sort of thing, I don't really want to read it. These are probably pretty popular, but I still don't really want to read it. So, Confess, Slammed, and It Ends With Us can all go to another home. And I did keep a few of my new adult books just to try them out, the ones that seemed like they were the best story. But these ones can go. A couple of them seemed like they were going to have cheating in them in some way, and a couple of them, and then one of them was just like generic bad boy thing, and I just, no, thanks. So there's Connected by Kim Carr, Down to You by M. Layton, and The Mighty Storm by Samantha Toll. And then I have one fantasy romance, which I just have had this forever. It's a self-published one. It's signed even, but I read a few pages and it didn't seem very well written or interesting. The Awakening, Book 1 by K.L. Hageman. It can go. Here's one that has almost been unhauled so many times. The Girl Next Door by Ruth Rendell. And this is a historical novel with a mystery or something involved. It takes place in the Second World War. And a group of children discover tunnels under a neighborhood in London. And then decades later, bones are found down there. And then it's a mystery to figure out what happened. A God in Ruins by Kate Atkinson. This is, I believe, the second book, like a sequel to Life After Life, which I have read and I did like, but I remember it was a difficult read, just hard to follow and trudge through, even though it was very interesting, like follows a woman through like multiple lifetimes, and this is like continuing that into the 20th century, I believe. But I don't remember anything from that book. Nothing. And I'm not really interested in jumping back in, so I missed the boat on that one. I should have read it when I was excited about Life After Life, because now I'm not. Husband's Secrets by Leanne Moriarty. This is about a woman who finds a note that her husband has written her that she's not supposed to read until he's dead, and it has a devastating secret in it that can wreck their family, basically. It seemed interesting. I started reading it, and I just wasn't as captivated as I was hoping. Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreight. College student is caught cheating and then ends up dead, and her mom is trying to figure out what happened. I think this sounds interesting, but when I started reading it, it was very college, very young, and very annoying. So I gave up on that. Dark Town by Thomas Mullen. This sounds so good. This is a detective noir type thing, but the writing style just wasn't gelling with me, so that one can go. Same with Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. It just didn't capture me right away like I was hoping. As well as 48 Clues, Into the Disappearance of My Sister by Joyce Carol Oates. I like the idea of this, and it looks like it goes like one clue at a time, and then it kind of all comes together to create a story of what happened to her sister. But I just didn't like the writing style. I was already confused. Now my horror books. Root Work by Tracy Cross. Love that it's kind of a hoodoo or witchcraft type story, but I just didn't like the writing style. Whoops. Sad day. And I think I'm done with Chuck Palahniuk. I don't need to read anymore. I have Survivor and Lullaby, and I just haven't liked the last couple that I've read, and I just not interested anymore. I have Ash by James Herbert. This is the third book in a series, and I had the best intentions to read the first two books, but I never did, and now I don't know if I will. I think I'd rather read James Herbert's standalone novels than get into a series, and that doesn't have to wait on my shelves for a million years for me to finally read the series. It can go. I also decided to unhaul Handling the Undead by John Ajvide Lindquist. This is his zombie novel, and it's interesting, but the first chapter didn't really capture me. It was kind of cool. Something's going on with the electrical, I don't know, where nothing can turn off. Everything's stuck on, which is interesting. But not enough for me to want to read it. And Coil by Ren. Is it Ren? Ren Warham? This is like a crime book. Kind of a futuristic crime book. Noir. And there is some really bad crimes in here. I just was not feeling it when I read the first few sections. And the last horror book that I'm gonna get rid of is The Blade Between by Sam J. Miller. When I read the first little bit of this, it was a horrible wailing description of whaling, butchering a whale, and I was icked out. I don't like that. And then that's like the past, when this area of New York was their main industry was whaling, and then it goes into the future, and I'm sure it's not going to be like that. It kind of went into a crime area or something after that. So it's not all about whaling, but even the section after the whaling section, I was not hooked in, so that one can go. Now I just have a few fantasy and sci-fi books. First is You Die When You Die by Angus Watson. This is a brutal comedy, start of a series, I think, fantasy. And I just didn't really like the first few pages. That's all I have to say. Wasn't into the comedy. Or, I don't know. The Kingdom of the Past by Tom Black. Feel bad for this self-published book. It sounds like it would be very interesting. World, it's dystopian, or a apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, and someone comes up with a plan to help society that involves Renaissance fair geeks, anarchists, and historical reenactors. I'm confused, but I like that. I was interested, but I, again, could not get into the writing. Enchanté by Gita Trellis. Book taking place in France, and Marie Antoinette and Louis the 16th. King Louis. Yeah. Historical, fantastical, and I couldn't get into that one either. I was harsh. Only gave it a few pages. Science fiction, I have Between Two Minds, Awakening by D.C. Wright-Hammer. Book 1. This is like a thriller sci-fi, and again, I don't know, wasn't pulled in. And the last one is Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott. I was definitely intrigued by the synopsis of this one, like a space opera sci-fi with like a princess, and it just seemed nice, but yeah, the writing was not my thing. So those are 26 books that I'm getting off of my shelves, and that's a good thing because it's gonna put me back under 700 books unread. Hooray! Because I was like at 718 books when the Read What You Own challenge started, and I don't like that. So I'm giving myself a good push in the right direction. And yeah, reading tastes change, and synopsis is not always an indicator if you are going to like the writing style. So here we go. If you've read any of these books, let me know if I am completely missing the mark on these. Is there any that I should give a second chance to? And I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.